Everyone knows that the most unreliable diesel trucks are the 6.0 and the 6.4 Powerstroke. But just how unreliable are these diesel trucks? Because I see a lot of people out there saying that they're unreliable, but never actually showing facts about how unreliable they are. So what better way to find out if they are unreliable than by buying every Powerstroke and testing them all to see how unreliable the 6.0 and 6.4 are compared to the other reliable diesel trucks like the 7.3 and 6.7 Powerstroke. Starting with the most reliable diesel truck, the 7.3 Powerstroke. I bought this 1996 7.3 Powerstroke about 1 year ago, and since then I've put some amazing performance upgrades in this truck, which include a Stage 2 KC 300X turbo, 180/30 full-force diesel injectors, an Atlas intercooler, a 5-inch turbo back exhaust, a hydro chip tuner, a Marty's e-fuel kit, and a Stage 2 Atlas H-pop. With these mods, we were able to get our 0 to 60 down from 12.91 seconds all the way to 8 seconds, and I expect we gained around 190 horsepower from all of these mods, which would put us around that 385 to 415 horsepower range. My total cost for this build was $6,913 just for the performance mods, and then an additional $6,000 for the actual truck. So my total cost would be $12,913 all in with the performance mods and the cost of the truck. As for reliability, I would say it is the most reliable diesel, considering it has 378,000 miles on it, and I've been driving this truck with the performance mods for about 20,000 miles and have had zero issues. Now for the 6.7 Powerstroke. I bought this truck about 2 years ago with 184,000 miles on it. Since then, we've put about 20,000 miles on it, towing heavy for most of that. For performance mods, I only have a KC Stage 2 Whistler turbo and an S&S disaster kit. Other than that, the truck is stock. I expect we gained around 100 to 175 horsepower with the turbo and tune, so we should be sitting around that 580 to 655 horsepower range. I also was able to reduce my 0 to 60 speed from 8.16 seconds to 5.94 seconds. This build cost me $3,390 for the performance mods and then an additional $29,000 for the actual truck. So my total all-in price was $32,390. The only serious problem with this truck is an upper oil pan leak, which is to be expected after hard towing for 214,000 miles. As for reliability, it's definitely one of my more reliable diesel trucks. However, I would not put it more reliable than the 7.3 Powerstroke. Now for one of the world's most unreliable diesel trucks, the 6.0 Powerstroke. I bought this truck about a year and a half ago, and since then we have put almost every performance mod you can think of on this truck. And we have finally found the limit of the stock bottom end 6.0 Powerstroke.
As y'all can hear, the 6.0 is knocking pretty bad. Let me come over here and check the blow-by. It has very little to no blow-by, which is why we think it spun a rod bearing on the dyno. So you can see right there, literally zero blow-by. So that's why we think it did spin a rod bearing on the dyno. Right now, it's knocking really bad, as y'all can hear. It still runs though, so I'm amazed that it survived a 1,137 horsepower dyno run. So 1,137 horsepower is the maximum stock bottom end potential for a 6.0 Powerstroke. There's no more after that, as y'all can hear. I'm gonna rev it up a little bit and show y'all guys how bad it is. So as y'all can hear right there, the 6.0 turned into a 6 blow. I wouldn't necessarily call it a 6 blow because it did survive a ton of abuse, especially with a 1,100 horsepower ghetto fogged nitrous run on the dyno. So it definitely reached its full maximum potential with what we did with the truck. And for the stock bottom end, that is 1,137 horsepower, a horsepower more, and I think we would have shot a rod out of the block. So I got a ton of hate online for me posting this video where I said it made 1,200 horsepower. I forgot to mention that it was 1,200 horsepower with nitrous. I'm gonna prove all y'all wrong. I'm gonna prove all the haters wrong. We've got a fully built engine going in this truck. We got a fully built engine. The goal is to make 1,000 horsepower on fuel only, and it is not gonna be clickbait this time. It is gonna be for real. We're doing a full on, I'm spending like 20 grand for one video. Complete and utter full build. We're doing compounds. We're doing huge garden hose injectors. It will be done next month. So next month that video will be out. Partnering with J&K engines. We're gonna be partnering with KC turbos, Warren diesel injection, and a couple other companies that we're gonna be doing some huge performance builds on. So the goal is to make 1,000 horsepower on fuel only, and then with nitrous, the goal is to make 1,500 horsepower. horsepower. So that is what I'm going to title the video. Hopefully we can make it around that 1,000. Tuning is going to be a big play with it as well. So I got some of the best tuners tuning this truck. We are getting rid of the VGT completely. So we will not be using a VGT. We're going to be going non-VGT. So I'm going to prove all y'all wrong. I'm going to prove everyone who said I didn't make 1,200 horsepower on fuel only. I'm going to actually make that much horsepower. I'm going to make 1,000 horsepower at the tire on fuel only. So it'll be around 1,200 at the motor. Y'all guys are going to see it in the next video. Y'all guys got to stay tuned for that one.
Now that y'all have seen the final end of the 6.0 Powerstroke, I want to recap everything that was done to the truck and how surprisingly reliable this truck has been. We installed a KC Stage 3 turbo, a Thumper 2 H-pop, 205 over 100 Warren diesel injectors, a 240 GPH fast fuel system, a regulator return, a Stage 1 cam, O-ringed race heads, performance lifters, push rods, head studs, a Warren diesel competition transmission, a O-Dog intake manifold, and a KC turbos intercooler. With these mods, we were able to gain 332 horsepower, and our current dynoed horsepower is 657 horsepower. I was able to reduce my 0 to 60 speed from 19.95 seconds to 3.71 seconds. This build cost me $23,779.88 for just the performance mods, and then an additional $4,200 for the truck. So my total all-in price for everything was $27,979.88. Now for reliability. I bought this truck with 185,000 miles on it and put about 4,000 miles on it with the performance mods. Within that mileage, I've done 25 dyno pulls, 68 hard full throttle 0 to 60 pulls, and a fully ghetto fogged nitrous dyno run. How the truck doesn't have a hole in the block yet, I don't know. The truck has never left me stranded, has never broke down on me, and has had very little to no problems. The only small problems I did have was the water pump leaking, the ABS module not working, and the VGT wiring went bad. The reason I call it small problems is because all of these problems cost me less than $1,000 to fix. As for unreliability, I would say the 6.0 will nickel and dime me to death with the little problems. But if we were talking about just the bottom end, I would say the 6.0 is the most reliable diesel truck around. And I think if you dial in the high pressure oil system and get them built right, you can 100% make these trucks reliable. Now for hands down the most unreliable diesel truck in the world, the 6.4 Powerstroke. I bought this truck about 6 months ago with 176,000 miles on it. And since then we have put a ton of performance mods on it, which include a KC Fusion compound turbo kit, some 150% over injectors, a 290 GPH fast fuel pump, a CP3 dual fueler kit, and a fully built transmission. With these mods, I expect I gained around 575 horsepower, which is absolutely insane. And I should be sitting around that 775 to 875 horsepower range. We were able to reduce our 0 to 60 speed from 5.51 seconds to 3.86 seconds.
Oh my God! Damn! Go, 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 go! All right, all right, all right! 3.8! Yeah! Holy shit!
This build cost me $17,809.32 for just the performance mods, and an additional $7,500 for the truck. So all in, it cost me $25,309.32. Now for reliability. I've put about 4,000 miles on this truck since I bought it, and it's definitely one of the fastest diesel trucks around. However, I have had nothing but problems with this truck, going through 2 transmissions in the course of 2 months. I definitely think this truck is hands down the most unreliable diesel truck ever built. I don't know how the engine has held up to all this power, but it's only a matter of time before the Piston Punisher 8000 claims its victory. If y'all want to get all of these performance mods, you can in the description down below.